What is up, Insaners, and welcome to our Gameweek 17 team selection video of the Fantasy Premier League 2021-22 season. In this one, we'll talk about our team for the upcoming game week, we'll discuss transfer plans, and we'll end the video with the best captain picks for the week. So guys, make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel as well if you like what you see and are new around here. Now before we get into our team for Game Week 17, let's quickly look at how we did in Game Week 16. So Game Week 16 finally a decent game week and a strong green arrow this week from 50k to almost 40k, and we move on. A much stronger week for our defense, apart from James, who surprisingly got 0 points. Trent managed to get 3 bonus points, Cancelo too got the clean sheet, but the yellow card means that he will miss out the next week's game because of suspension. Our final defender Alonso, he also conceded 2 goals, but he did return with an assist. Now I'm a bit worried in terms of the double up in the Chelsea defense, and might move on from them very soon. Coming to midfield, and another return from Salah, he scored a penalty and continues his point scoring streak. Jota came on from the bench and again missed some really good chances in whatever time he had on the pitch. To be honest, Gallagher was a surprising one for me. He came on for Emil Smith-Rowe, who didn't play this week, and he gave us 15 points from the bench. In attack, another average showing from Antonio, and it's getting a bit frustrating to own him right now. Our newest transfer king, he played out wide and he hit the post. It definitely could have got a goal, but positive signs there, and I'm hoping that he can get returns this week. The other transfer that we got in, Ronaldo, he scored for Man United and got 3 bonus points as well, so the -4 did work to some extent. Guys, I think the team looks quite good for this week. I don't necessarily need to make a transfer, and you might just roll it this week. In any case, lots of decisions are to be made with regards to the COVID outbreak at a few clubs, so we'll try to make the move as late as possible. So guys, how was your Game Week 16? Do let me know in the comments below. Now let's look at what we have for Game Week 17. We are playing a 3-4-3 this week at the moment with Ramsdale in goal. Now he's facing West Ham, which could be a tough game. The Hammers' attacking numbers, they haven't looked that great, they have definitely gone down, but there are chances that they can score against Arsenal. Overall, it's still not the worst fixture for Ramsdale this week, and let's move on to our defense. Now among defenders, Trent, he's playing Newcastle, who have looked pretty bad in defense, and in fact all around to be honest. Guys, if there's no COVID disruption and the game goes as planned, this could be a huge haul for Trent. He's done really well so far this season, becoming only the second player after Mo Salah to score 100 points. Now I'm really confident that he will do well this week, and I have seen a lot of people captaining him as well. Now I personally won't go that far, but I think he's still a very good pick this week. Now coming to the Chelsea double up in our team, I will start with James. This is a bit tricky. Now there's always a chance that he gets rested after having played back-to-back games. I know that's the risk that is there, but he's pretty much a template pick anyways. At this moment, a lot of people own him, and not playing him even if the clean sheet is tricky is still not worth it in my opinion. Now I know that Chelsea's defense has looked a bit rusty, but Reece James provides much more than that. His attacking numbers have also dropped considerably over the last few games, but he's still a hold and a play against Leeds, who won't be having a lot of players playing for them this week. I think the biggest of them all is Calvin Phillips, without who Leeds really struggle to keep it tight at the back. Our second pick, Alonso, now again not 100% convinced with the Alonso pick. He's okay to play this week, and I think he will play because Tuchel doesn't have a lot of options in that spot. Now Saul had tried, but he failed. Hudson-Odoi is maybe an option, mostly because of his attacking threat, but Alonso is also good in attack. Now if Tuchel wants to tighten the defense and the defensive aspect of the wingback position, Azpilicueta is also an option, who's a solid defender, but he provides limited opportunity going forward, and for Tuchel, that wingback position is very critical in how he sets up, and Azpi might not get the nod. Now I know that I mentioned that Chelsea's defense is looking a bit dodgy right now. Yes, they've struggled in the past 2 weeks, and a clean sheet in this week also, it could be difficult. Now guys, we also know that Alonso is not a great defender, but he still carries some goal threat and assist potential, and for that reason, he stays on for now, but again, depending on our strategy overall this week, he might leave as well this time. Now quickly coming to our midfield, and we have Salah. Again, we're not going to touch upon too much on Salah because of course he's a must-have, of course he's the safest captaincy option as well, and he is our captain this week against a weak Newcastle defense, and I think this could be a huge haul for Mo Salah. Now coming to our second pick, Jota. He's a Liverpool double up in attack. Now Jota missed out last game week and came on only as a sub. Now this week it might be a bit different. Oxlade-Chamberlain, he wasn't that effective through the middle last game week, and Jota after coming on did look quite lively. His minutes are a bit of an issue with Firmino close to a return. I still feel with AFCON coming up and Salah and Mane missing out, Klopp won't rush back Firmino as he would want the Brazilian to be firing at the right point of time. Guys, to be honest, Jota still looks pretty essential to me in that Liverpool attack and our FPL teams as well. He usually gets a lot of chances. Yes, he misses a few big chances as well, but that is what you generally get from a Jota. In spite of playing only 30 minutes or so last game week, he accumulated the most non-penalty XG among all players in the league last week. And guys, that is really something, and he's okay for this week to be honest. Our third option is Gallagher. Now I'm still not sure what to make of Gallagher. He's hot one week and then gets cold in the next one. It also looks very opponent driven. Against bigger clubs, what I've seen that Gallagher will still press, but he'll play a bit deeper and control the midfield. Now last game week against Everton, he was playing a bit more advanced, and that is something that we want from him from an FPL perspective. I'm just happy that he came on from my bench and he gave me 15 points. And that's the thing with him, right? He has not even once given me points when I've played him, to be honest. And on the other hand, he's returned 3 times from the bench, and all of those have been massive hauls. Now this week at Southampton, I feel that is a really good fixture and he should play a lot further forward. So overall, really confident with Gallagher, and let's move on to ESR, who's our final midfielder in the playing 11 this week. Now there are question marks about his fitness. I think he suffered a groin injury, so chances are that he might not start again. Now one thing to note is that he was among the subs in Arsenal's last game, but he didn't come on. Now that can happen again, or maybe he gets on for a few minutes. Now there are chances that he can start as well, so it makes sense to play him, especially if our only viable option, the only other option that we have on our bench is Gilmour, who's facing a decent Aston Villa side. Now even if ESR doesn't have the easiest of fixtures against West Ham, having 11 players this week is really gonna be gold itself, guys. I might even take out ESR for a City mid later on, and we'll talk about it in the transfer planner section. Now up top we have Cristiano Ronaldo, who was scheduled to play Brentford, but the game could be called off any moment. Now at the moment there is no official confirmation at the time of recording this video, but let's say if it doesn't come out and the game goes on, then Ronaldo is pretty much a great pick this week against a struggling Brentford defense, who might find it difficult to contain Ronaldo. I think it's clear that he's the focal point of all the United's attacks, and it looks like he's on penalties as well. I know he's a lot of money invested in your team, but if there's no cancellation, I think he's a perfect hold. On the other hand, if the game is called off, then we have 2 ways that we can do this. Now, the first way is to just bench Ronaldo, hope that the COVID situation is fine by next game week, which is coming in a few days, and play Ronaldo against Brighton. The other option is to take him out, and we'll discuss that in a minute, but I think for now, it's just a wait and watch. Our next striker is Antonio against Arsenal. Now he looked okay against Burnley, he did link up the play well, he was also running the channels, but there are no goals coming from Antonio, and that is a bit of a concern at the moment. We have kept faith in him for all the tough fixtures. Now West Ham's attacking stats, they've dropped considerably during this time, but now fixtures are looking a lot better, and it makes sense to play him for the upcoming run. Guys, I'm being patient for at least a couple of more games. If the underlying stats and the eye test wise, there's nothing happening with Antonio, we'll move him on for somebody else, but for now, he stays. Our third striker is King from Watford, who's playing Burnley this week. Now on paper, this should be a good game for the Watford attackers, but Burnley did manage to get a draw and get a 0-0 against Hammers, so I'm not very sure. Nevertheless, we have to trust the process, and we got him in for these easier games, so he stays, and hopefully we can get something from him this week. Now quickly talking about our bench players are Gilmour and Livramento right now. I think Livramento is a doubt for some reason, and if that is the case, if he has some injury, if there's COVID or if there's something else, then we only have Gilmour against Villa as a cover this week. So that's a bit tricky. Cancelo's definitely out because of the suspension, so that is that. Now let's talk about our transfer plans. Coming to our transfer plans, the first option is to save the transfer and hope all the other games go through. Now that's the easiest solution. If Ronaldo does not play, then we have Gilmour, who should start against Villa this week. This will give me more flexibility next game week in game week 18, and then get a Man City mid without taking a hit, or put out any other fires in case if we have more postponements coming our way. Now in case if we don't want to save the transfer, in isolation I still feel the team looks pretty okay if the Man United Brentford game is not called off. Now if the game goes through, then we have another option this week. The obvious move is to get a Man City midfield cover with one of Bernardo Silva or Foden. Now Silva is the informed pick with average underlying stats. They're okay, they're not that great. He's probably getting more minutes too than Foden, irrespective of whether Foden is fit or not. Now if KDB comes back and plays majority minutes, then the situation changes a bit, as now Pep would have a few options in Silva, KDB and Gundogan playing in the centre. Now Foden mostly should play out wide or maybe as a false nine as Torres is still not back, but even he faces competition from players like Sterling, Grealish, maybe even Gabriel Jesus. It's super risky, but not having a City mid and Bernardo in particular has really hurt our rank over the last few weeks. Now to fund this move, of course, we would need a downgrade, so if the United game goes through, we can downgrade Alonso to a Diego Dalot, who has looked okay, but again, he's nowhere nailed in that United defense. Of course, there's a risk. I think Wan-Bissaka is back fit, and there is a chance that Dalot could get a rest. Now, if the game is called off, then maybe looking at someone like a Soufal makes more sense. Maybe not this week, maybe in the longer run, it makes a lot more sense. West Ham have decent fixtures, and with Cresswell and Johnson both out at the moment, Soufal looks pretty nailed. He's decent in defense and generally likes to go forward as well. Now, I know it's not a very popular move, but he could be a decent option in defense. Now, there's another way to do it. If I go for Bernardo Silva, then I have the exact money to get cash from Villa, who's another player going a bit under the radar. I know Villa weren't that good against Liverpool, but then the Villa defense has generally improved. Cash, we know that he likes to join the attack. He gets a high number of touches in the opposition penalty box as well, and that's a huge plus. Another big advantage for Cash is that fixtures till game week 28, they look really good. They only face Chelsea and Man United as tricky games in this run, so he could be an option as well. Now guys, there's another alternate option that we can go for in terms of our transfers. Now in case Ronaldo misses out this week, there's also an option to replace him and then get a City midfielder without really taking any money out from defense. So we can take Kilmer out, get in that City midfielder, let's say Bernardo Silva for example. Of course we are taking out Ronaldo and replacing him with Watkins from Villa, who has a good run of fixtures and will become a template very soon. So I think there is a chance to go early on him and take advantage of United's game getting called off. If the postponement happens, there will be some managers taking hits for the likes of Ronaldo, Dalot, maybe even David De Gea. There's a chance that this happens, plus a lot of people might take hits to get in a City mid this week, and like last week, a hit might not be that bad, so we can go for this move as well. So guys, these are our transfer moves for Game Week 17. What moves are you planning for Game Week 17? Do let us know in the comments below. Great, let's talk about captaincy now. Now coming to captaincy for Game Week 17, Liverpool's fixture against Newcastle, that means that there are a few standout options at Liverpool for captaincy, but the safest and the best is Mo Salah in attack. He's the best attacking player in the league by a distance. He will be having the highest effective ownership as well. So if you want to play safe, if you are worried about ownership, if you are worried about going elsewhere and probably losing out rank, I don't think so you should look anywhere else apart from Salah. He's in really good form at the moment. He's only blanked once this season against Burnley, and I think he's the safest option this week with a really good fixture. Of course, there are always differentials to target, and if you want to target one this week, then Bernardo Silva stands out. He's playing Leeds at home. Now he looks like the most informed player for Manchester City right now. He has 5 goals and 1 assist in his last 6 game weeks. We also know that Leeds have a few players injured and generally concede a lot of chances against the big teams. And with Calvin Phillips missing, I think this could be a high scoring game for Man City. I feel that he's a great alternative to Salah, but of course he's a very risky pick because Salah also has a great fixture against Newcastle. Now if you're looking for other options in the Liverpool team, Diego Jota is also a great option. I think he should start this game after missing out and only coming from the bench last game week. In terms of stats, he scored 4 goals in his last 4 starts. Now he usually gets a lot of chances in any game. I think it might be worth captaining him in case if you don't want to go for the safer Salah. I know that he's an alternative. Even though he's from Liverpool, he's still a risky option this week. Now guys, if you really want to go out there, if you really want to do something different, if you are doing a lot of catch up in your mini leagues or against your opponent in the cup or for any other reason, you also have a couple of other alternate picks. You can go for somebody like a Mason Mount who has looked in decent touch in the last few game weeks for Chelsea. It looks like that he's nailed under Tuchel and has 5 attacking returns in the last 3 games for the Chelsea team. Our last option, of course, captaining a defender is always tricky, but you can take your chances with a certain Trent Alexander-Arnold. Guys, Newcastle is easily one of the worst teams in terms of defensive statistics, and this spells great for Trent, who could be on for an easy clean sheet plus attacking returns. He's another tricky option in my opinion, but he could just be worth it. Super risky, but definitely worth it. So guys, who are you captaining for Game Week 17? Do let us know in the comments below. That'll be all from my side, guys. I really hope you'll find this video helpful in setting up your final teams for Game Week 17. Make sure that you hit the like button if you liked our team selection video. Please consider subscribing to the channel as well if you want to follow our teams throughout the season. Now guys, we'll be back for the deadline stream, so do join us if you have any last minute questions or transfer queries. All the best to all FPL managers, enjoy your week, and I'll see you insaners next time.